Hi. A book that meant a great deal to David and I after leaving the organization in the 1980s was this book, Holiness by J.C. Ryle. David's first video on our channel actually was about this book. So I'm going to link that at the end of this video. But it was invaluable to me also in the early stage of my Christian walk. And it is available in PDF forms online. So I'll try and get David to put a link in. And if you like, you can follow along, because what I want to do is share this book with you. And that means I'm going to read it. I'm going to read the whole book out loud over the course of quite a few videos. The edition I'm going to read from, though, is a reprint from 1956 because it's got bigger and darker print. So I'm going to read from that one. In this 1956 reprint, there is a foreword by Martin Lloyd-Jones. So I'll start with his foreword. One of the most encouraging and hopeful signs I have observed for many a long day in evangelical circles has been the renewed and increased interest in the writings of Bishop J.C. Ryle. In his day, he was famous, outstanding, and beloved as a champion and exponent of the evangelical and Reformed faith. For some reason or other, however, his name and his works are not familiar to modern evangelicals. His books are, I believe, all out of print in this country and very difficult to obtain second-hand. That's no longer the case. The differing fates suffered in this respect by Bishop Ryle and his near contemporary, Bishop Moule, have always been to me a matter of great interest. But Bishop Ryle is being rediscovered, and there is a new call for the republication of his works. All who have ever read him will be grateful for this new edition of his great book on holiness. I shall never forget the satisfaction, spiritual and mental, with which I read it some 20 years ago after having stumbled across it in a second-hand bookshop. It really needs no preface or word of introduction. All I will do is to urge all readers to read the bishop's own introduction. It is invaluable, as it provides the setting in which he felt compelled to write the book. The characteristics of Bishop Ryle's method and style are obvious. He is preeminently and always scriptural and expository. He never starts with a theory into which he tries to fit various scriptures. He always starts with the Word and expounds it. It is expositional at its very best and highest. It is always clear and logical, and invariably leads to a clear enunciation of doctrine. It is strong and virile and entirely free from the sentimentality that is often described as devotional. The bishop had drunk deeply from the wells of the great classical Puritan writers of the 17th century. Indeed, it would be but accurate to say that his books are a distillation of true Puritan theology, presented in a highly readable and modern form. Ryle, like his great masters, has no easy way to holiness to offer us, and no patent method by which it can be attained, but he invariably produces that hunger and thirst after righteousness, which is the only indispensable condition of being filled. May this book be widely read, that God's name be increasingly honored and glorified. So that's his introduction. So now we will look at J.C. Ryle's introduction. The 20 papers contained in this volume are a humble contribution to a cause which is exciting much interest in the present day. I mean the cause of scriptural holiness. And this is 1879. It is the cause which everyone who loves Christ and desires to advance his kingdom in the world should endeavor to help forward. Everyone can do something, and I wish to add my mite. The reader will find little that is directly controversial in these papers. I have carefully abstained from naming modern teachers and modern books. I have been content to give the result of my own study of the Bible, my own private meditations, my own prayers for light, and my own readings of old divines. If in anything I am still in error, I hope I shall be shown it before I leave the world. We all see in part, and have a treasure in earthen vessels. I trust I am willing to learn. Humility, eh? I have had a deep conviction for many years that practical holiness and entire self-consecration to God are not sufficiently attended to by modern Christians in this country. Politics or controversy or party spirit or worldliness have eaten out the heart of lively piety in too many of us. The subject of personal godliness has fallen sadly into the background. The standard of living has become painfully low in many quarters. The immense importance of adorning the doctrine of God our Savior and making it lovely and beautiful by our daily habits and tempers has been far too much overlooked. Worldly people sometimes complain, with reason, that religious persons, so-called, are not so amiable and unselfish and good-natured as others who make no profession of religion. Yet sanctification in its place and proportion is quite as important as justification. Sound Protestant and evangelical doctrine is useful if it is not is useless if it is not accompanied by a holy life. It is worse than useless. It does positive harm. It is despised by keen-sighted and shrewd men of the world as an unreal and hollow thing, and brings religion into contempt. It is my firm impression that we want a thorough revival about scriptural holiness, and I am deeply thankful that attention is being directed to that point. It is, however, of great importance that the whole subject should be placed on right foundations, and that the movement about it should not be damaged by crude, disproportioned, and one-sided statements. If such statements abound, we must not be surprised. Satan knows well the power of true holiness and the immense injury which increased attention to it will do to his kingdom. It is his interest, therefore, to promote strife and controversy about this part of God's truth. Just as in time past he has succeeded in mystifying and confusing men's minds about justification, so is he laboring in the present day to make men darken counsel by words without knowledge about sanctification. May the Lord rebuke him. I cannot, however, give up the hope that good will be brought out of evil, that discussion will elicit truth, and that variety of opinion will lead us all to search the Scriptures more, to pray more, and to become more diligent in trying to find out what is the mind of the Spirit. I now feel it a duty in sending forth this volume to offer a few introductory hints to those whose attention is specially directed to the subject of sanctification in the present day. I know that I do so at the risk of seeming presumptuous and possibly of giving offense. But something must be ventured in the interest of God's truth. I shall therefore put my hints into the form of questions, and I shall request my readers to take them as cautions for the times on the subject of holiness. That's all I'll read today. So the next time, he divides these cautions into 7. So we'll present the first one the next time. I'm going to link to David's video that he did on our channel, the first video, How to Be Holy Without God's Organization. Thank you for watching.